Welcome back to another episode of the Hardcore Casual with your boy, Bass the Kid. As always, please like and subscribe and share with anyone that is interested. And even if they're not, share anyway. Quick one, I totally forgot to mention about the Kenshiro Teraji versus Anthony Olisquega card that took place in Japan on Saturday during the weekend wrap. That's how many cards was going on. It totally slipped my mind. So you look, big respects to my Capricorn compatriot taking on a naturally bigger guy, very heavy-handed, who obviously is coming in I think on 2 weeks notice, but he managed to get the job, but Teraji still got the job done. And yeah, we go again. He says he's now looking to try and unify and, go undisputed in the division. If not, he said he's going to move up and maybe have a look at people like Sonny Edwards and Delakian, them and there. Tenchi Nasukawa obviously made his professional boxing debut on that card as well. It was a really good card, and it was lucky, very fortunate. I was actually able to get it. I managed to get it through my Amazon Prime account, little VPN over to Japan, and you do what you do. But yeah, just wanted to touch on that real quick. He deserves his flowers. He should have got his flowers in the weekend wrap, so I have to apologize to Kenshiro Teraji. But yeah, big things. Anyway, that out of the way, there's a few things that took place, especially during the Matchroom card over the weekend, and we definitely got to talk about it. So without further ado, let's get into it. So during the Bam Rodriguez and Christian Gonzalez card, it was announced that Edgar Berlanga is going to be facing Jay Quigley, or Jason Quigley if you want to use his full name, on I believe it's June the 23rd, and that's going to be taking place at the theater, Madison Square Garden in New York. Now, when Eddie initially said that, it said it on the Before the Bell, it was going to be a top 15 opponent. So you look towards the bottom half of it. So I went on my Box Live account and was looking all the sanctioning bodies and said, okay, who's in the top 15? And several times Jose Uzcategui's name came up, and I saw Anthony Durrell. So he said it would be like a former world title challenger. Didn't say champion, but I thought, okay, let me have a look. And then I saw in several different ones Anthony Durrell. Okay, American versus American, as a name, it would make sense. Just coming off of a loss, but as a comeback fight after a year, so decent one. The guy's been to the heights, knows kind of what the game's about. Okay, cool, makes sense. I had people online saying, no, they think it could be Uzcategui. I know Danny from Fight Fan TV thought it might be someone like, I can't remember his first name, but Falcao, or basically whoever was down in the bottom half of these divisions. I didn't even bother look at BoxRec at the time. I thought, nah, you can't go that way. Like, let's be sensible about this, innit? So then I find out it's Jason Quigley. Jason Quigley, who's not even a super middleweight. Jason Quigley's a middleweight, and Jason Quigley is not even ranked in any sanctioning body top 15, but he's number 13 on BoxRec. And you see, this is the time when promoters start playing that, oh well, if it's good enough for BoxRec, it's good enough for us. No. See, the thing is, and this actually pisses me off that they still do this. BoxRec, the algorithm that BoxRec's used and adhered to, got broken back in like 2018, 2019. So the algorithm that, the points-based system it worked on, that system's been flawed for years. So BoxRec can't even be the standard it used to be in terms of telling you how good someone is or where their ranking should be, unbiasedly. It's no longer unbiased because the algorithm, the system is broken, and it's been broken for years. But yet that's where you want to go. But yeah, okay, if you say all right, fine, you want to use the BoxRec rankings, you've got a guy that's a middleweight, not even a super middleweight, to say, okay, well, he's number 15 in the super middleweight. No, like, you're bringing a guy up from 160 to 168 to basically be a sacrificial lamb. Now, cool, we understand it's his coming out party, so yeah, you want to get the highlight reel knockout and blah blah blah, but you at least want to give him an opponent that's gonna pose a threat. And that's not to say that Jay Quigley is not an okay guy. He's fine if you was feeding him to a 7-0 prospect, a 8-0 prospect, but at middleweight. This guy is a super middleweight, supposed to be a contender. If you look through the divisional standings, while Edgar Berlanga's nothing special, he is still in like the top 5, top 6 of most of the super middleweight rankings throughout the sanctioning bodies. So at least get him someone in around that level. But what, you're gonna trade off the fact that Jay Quigley had a fight with Demetrius Andrade at middleweight, and you think that's acceptable? I tweeted it and I stand by the tweet. Like, Eddie Hearn probably doesn't watch this, but if he does, Eddie, that's a bullshit fight. And I'm gonna be real, as good as you are as a promoter, that means we hold you to a higher standard than most others. That's a terrible fight, and you should be embarrassed to put it on and act like, oh, it's a special one, you know, it's coming out party. Oh, everyone get prepared and get hyped for Berlanga. I could care less about that card right about now. Now, chances are, knowing Eddie, he's probably gonna stack the undercard to high heaven on that one, just to mask the fact that the main event's gonna be total shit. But no, I'm sorry, you need to do better. And yeah, it's embarrassing that that's what you've decided to offer up to people. Especially, you got people moaning about the whole $19.99 in the UK and $24.99 in the US for subscriptions, and then that's going to be something that you're offering as a part of the subscription. It's not good enough. You know, as much as people might want to say that I'm quote unquote Matchroom FC or whatever, no, I just like where the good fights happen, and most of the time they happen within Matchroom, DAZN. But when you put on shit, I'm gonna still tell you it's shit, and you need to do better, and you definitely need to do better on that one. Like, no, sorry, we ain't having that. While we're speaking about shit, it was also announced that Clarissa Shields is going to rematch Hannah Gabriels. Now, on paper, you say, alright, it's not the worst of fights, and Hannah Gabriels is the current WBA heavyweight champion and WBC light heavy champion. Fought her last fight at 177 pounds. So you say, okay, well, that should be a tough task for Clarissa. It's the only person that's ever put Clarissa on the deck as a professional. So what, she wants to run it back to clean it up, even though she won the fight comprehensively, even after being put down on the floor. But then Hannah Gabriels is what, 39, 40? Somewhere around, she might even be older, maybe she's 41 at the moment. Hannah Gabriels hasn't fought since April of 2021. And as much as, yeah, okay, her last fight, she was at 177. Okay, we don't know. Can she legitimately make 160 at the moment? I'm gonna have to say I think so, because in her last fight, she wasn't exactly the most felt looking person. Like, she looked pudgy. So can she drop 20 pounds, 25 pounds? I don't know how long she's going to have to do it, but I would assume so. Bearing in mind, this is the same woman that previously has competed as low as welterweight. Yes, she fought the majority of her career at 154. She fought some fights at 160, but she's been as low as 147. She is not a particularly big woman. Clarissa is much bigger naturally, and clearly is half her size, half her age, I should say, in terms of boxing at least. Now, Hannah's no scrub, and I'm not saying that this is like, oh, the worst of the worst, but to be honest, it's a shit fight, and I don't understand why this would be the route you go with Clarissa. when you've got Raquel Miller that still needs some work. Shadeja Green is there. Hell, you could move up to 168 and rematch Franchon Cruz DAZN if you want to do rematches. Rematch her over 10 rounds and go for the undisputed 168 belts. Like, what benefit is it for you to bring Hannah Gabriels back down to 160 to fight her at a weight division you've already fought her at, but you already handily, comprehensively beat her? For what? Because she knocked you down, and that's going to be the selling point. And DAZN sanctioned this, so I need to find out exactly what's going on at DAZN right now, because they're literally throwing shit at the wall and hoping it sticks. This is another terrible matchup. It would have made a lot more sense if Hannah Gabriels was fighting someone like Natasha Jonas down at 154 for the unified belts. Yeah, it might be a bit of a struggle still to get further down there, but ultimately they're actually, size-wise, they're more comparable, and that's a much more evenly contested fight. Both, you know, higher up in age, but both vast experience, and that would actually be a much more fun fight to see them two at 154 than to watch this, which is ultimately going to be a mismatch. Bear in mind, as I just said, she ain't been in the ring for 2 years. So by the time this fight comes around, it will actually be like 2 years and 3 months. Again, it's not good enough, and I don't understand why the DAZN have sanctioned it. What, just to say that they've got Clarissa Shields on the platform? It's not like it's going to increase the subscriber base that significantly. I mean, it hasn't done any other time. So yeah, again, this is just another shit show. And I'm not saying that Clarissa is shit, by the way, and that she doesn't do whatever payday she's getting, good on her. Bless up to you for getting your money. But if this is as good as it's getting, like, you might as well have just done the Savannah Marshall rematch in the UK. You probably would have got paid 2 times as much as what you're gonna make for this one. And Hannah Gabriel's taking this for, obviously, yeah, there's nothing at light heavyweight and nothing at heavyweight, but if for that, she might as well have gone down to super middle and fought Christina Hammer or someone like that. That would have been a decent fight for Hannah Gabriels if this is what you're gonna do, retread old water in a fight that you weren't anywhere near close to winning last time. And what? So now you are gonna be, when you're 5 years older and 2.5 years nearly inactive. It's, yeah, you know what, I'm off it. Like, you guys can say what you want in the comments, but again, DAZN, like, if I didn't have annual subscription, because I paid for the annual, I guarantee you I would have cancelled it for June and then seen what July was saying before resubscribing. But you know, luckily I know that there's probably going to be at least something on some of those cards that I think is going to be decent, so I'll stick with it. But again, not good enough. Do better. Summer's supposed to be when the good stuff happens, not this. And I guess, speaking of a lackluster summer, we get another interesting announcement. Anthony Joshua puts out on his Instagram that his next fight is scheduled for December. I think his exact words were, not what I wanted, but it's all part of a bigger strategy or a bigger plan or something along those lines. Oh no, I think he said not ideal, but it's all part of a bigger plan. So at this point, I can't now, unless this is something to do with his nose, which Dillian White said quite, you know, blasé on the DAZN show after he was fighting. Yeah, his nose probably is going to be out for a few months with his nose after the fight. So maybe he knew that there was an injury to his nose beforehand. Maybe this is something that has been going on and they were just trying to manage it for the fight and whatever. I don't know. All I do know is a man told us that he was going to be out again in the summer, and now he's 2 weeks later is telling us that he's going to be in December. Now, you told us back last year that not having the belts meant that you was going to actually have a chance to be more active, and you weren't, and it was going to be a much easier to deal with the politics of boxing, because you didn't have to worry about mandatories and writing this letter, that letter, and, you know, hampering and stifling your career. Yet again, at the time when you've got the chance to prove this, you're telling us that we're only getting 2 fights, when really and truly, for your own self, for your own rhythm, your own confidence, everything, 3 fights is the minimum you should have been having this year. Regardless, I don't even care what the level is. Whether it meant you needed to cut your contract in half in terms of what your guaranteed pay was for each fight, or it meant that you had to take 3 tough fights, you know, whatever the case may be, you needed to be active. And now you're going to be doing the same shit that you was doing before, but yet you're going to want different results. Now, when you was running through people left, right and center, okay, maybe the two fights a year was okay, maybe that's all it was, and maybe that's all it needed for the public. But right now, when you're in this current rebuild phase, this evolution phase, this phase of I don't know if I can take a shot the same way, I'm a bit tentative against counter punches, because I remember what happened last time. I don't really want to get hit, so let me tack up the guard, let me let me work on my fundamentals more, let me work on the footwork. So you're in this stage now where you're not even that pleasing to the general public. Like, I see the good stuff, but I watch boxing on a consistent basis. The general public ain't caring about some of the little intricacies you're doing. They just want to see you put your fist through someone's face. And from you not doing that, what do you think they're gonna be excited that you're taking 8 months out the ring after you didn't get the KO or the dominant performance that they all wanted you to have in the previous fight? Would have been a lot easier to sell whatever you're about to do in December with the, something in the summer where you get to show not the old AJ, but at least like some devastation that people can, look at and believe in. But we're not getting that. Now again, if it's something to do with injury, I still can't even accept that, because you told us that you were fine after the fight. So if there was an injury, why did you lie to people? And this is part of the reason why certain people don't trust you. I put my faith and said, I actually believe he's going to fight 3 times this year. It made me look like a right dickhead. I was on Big Bad DAZN saying that. So, and if this is just a play of, I'm only fighting, I'm scheduled for December, and it's because, I want to go to Abu Dhabi or like Saudi Arabia and fight like a big money fight over there. Dickhead thing. Fully. Because I'm not even saying that I want to see, I have to be able to watch your fights live or whatever, because I've got a DAZN subscription. I don't have to go to the O2 to watch it, or Wembley Stadium or whatever. Like, I've done it. Cardiff and all of that, I've done it, but I don't have to. But ultimately, like, I want to see the best version of AJ possible, and to me that best version needs multiple fights with the new trainer, implementing the new stuff with the right type of opponents that are gonna help you and benefit you going through all of these key stages. And I just don't think we're gonna see that. So we're back to the same 1/2 fights a year. Next thing, I guarantee it will be we might get an announcement. December was a bit early, so now it's going to end up being like March 2024 instead, going back to the once a year business. Like, COVID done 2 years ago, so that whole COVID excuse is done now. Like, the activity, this was your year to be active and not worry about belts or anything like that, and now it's being squandered again. Now again, if it's an injury that you just can't get away from, all right, through gritted teeth, have to accept it. But you never told us it was an injury last week, so what's changed now? It might even be better you come out with an interview and say why your next fight is in December after you told everyone live on air that you're going to be back in the summer. That might be an easier option. But yeah, again, not good enough. And at this current weather, and to go 8 months with the new trainer, yeah, cool. But guess what? Learning new stuff for 8 months you still don't know if you're going to retain it because you're not using it in a high pressure situation. Sparring isn't high pressure. Drilling it into yourself, you're still going to revert to type unless this is stuff that you're doing under the hot lights and under the bright lights and the crowd cheering. That's how you start embedding these things in, when they become second nature in crisis mode, not second nature in the gym after a prolonged period of learning them. So yeah, you know what, let me leave it there. This has been a very negative video. I don't necessarily like to just be this way, but I felt this is necessary. And yeah, you guys leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Alright, let me leave it there. Again, like and subscribe and share the vid and leave your comments. Thank you. So for now, it's the Hardcore Casual.